Hi, my name is JD Walsh, and in January of 2023, I was diagnosed with Merkel cell. And over the last 8 or 9 months, I have been thinking a lot about how I wish there had been some video online to explain what I needed to do and what I should be thinking about as I go through this journey. So I talked to some doctors and I talked to some patients and some survivors about things that they wish they would have known. And so here is my list of things that I wish I would have known. Go to merkelcell.org. That is a way station for all the information, and it's laid out pretty well. And there you can find a specialist, and that is incredibly important. That is incredibly important. Because you might have a great doctor and you might be near a great cancer center, but this is a very rare cancer, and you need to have people on your team who really know about this cancer. I just want to add on talking to a specialist is that if you have to drive 150 miles or if you have to fly, do it. And I know that you'll be thinking, well, I can't go to every appointment to this person who's, on the other side of the country. But because of telemedicine now, and because of tests being able to be sent, you can do an initial treatment and then have that person on your team talking to your local person. And that is going to be incredibly beneficial. I live in Los Angeles. The nearest expert to me was 70 miles away, and I ended up going to one in San Diego that was 140 miles away. So it's not like, oh, I have this great hospital next to me, they'll take care of it. No, you really need an expert. My dermatologist at UCLA had never had a patient with Merkel cell. And he was like, in his mid-40s. So it's very important to find an expert. Time is of the essence. I feel like you need to push really hard to get those tests, to get the appointments. And that doesn't mean that you become insane to the people on the other line, on the other side of the phone. But it does mean that you don't let things just slip by. If you're scheduled for 4 weeks out, because that's the only position they have, call every morning, see if they can see you earlier. Time is of the essence. And I would also say aggression. Somebody, one of the people that wrote to me on the Facebook group said, be aggressive. And I have decided to go that path, which is to be aggressive. And also as a side note, as you go through this journey, get to know those receptionists. Drop off some cookies because they hold a lot of power of when you're going to have meetings and appointments. So make them your best friend. And sometimes they're insane, but you need to overlook that because they hold a very, very important place in your treatment. The biggest obstacles that I had to overcome were twofold. One is I didn't realize that I was going to have to make decisions. I thought I would just be put on a path. And two, the emotional component. So the decisions, for example, whether to do immunotherapy or not, when I went up to Washington, Dr. Paul was wonderful, but he sort of leaned towards either doing a study or not doing immunotherapy. And that was very depressing. And then I talked to some other people, my oncologist down here, and a family friend who's an oncologist, and my radiologist, and I got some other opinions. And ultimately, it felt like 50-50. And what I finally landed on was the concept that even though immunotherapy has some side effects, the immunotherapy isn't coming to kill me. The immunotherapy isn't waking up in the morning and thinking, how do I kill this dude? But the cancer is. And so ultimately I decided to do the immunotherapy. But that decision to have the cojones to go up and see the leading guy in Washington and go, okay, what do I need to do? And have him go, well, I wouldn't do this. And for me to go, yeah, I'm going to do that, was pretty challenging because I respect him so much. And also I'm worried about my sort of mentality of like, I know what's right for me. I'm better than everybody. So that was very challenging. I found support when I first got the diagnosis by going on a Facebook group and seeing people who had gone through this, and so that gave me some hope. I got on antidepressants. I had a meditation app on my VR and then also my phone, which I know sounds lame, but oh man, when I was getting super anxious, and I realized something during this is that no one ever spirals up. You never start with a thought and then start feeling better and better and better and better. You just have a thought and then you just spiral down. So, I would, when I had those feelings of utter dread, I would write in my journal, then I would go do the meditation app. I would go for a walk. And when I walked, I had to remember to look up, literally and figuratively. Because if I stared down at the ground, then the machine would start working. So I had to really look up at things. So, and then I would also add, after you go through treatment, what I would call the system, where you're in sort of a washing machine of like doctors and radiation and tests and all that kind of stuff. You sort of come out of it and they go, okay, well, go back to life. We'll see you in 3 months. And you go like, wait, I'm just supposed to function normally? That is incredibly difficult. Oh, and then there were two people in my life. One who had gotten a brain tumor, and another woman who had breast cancer 10 years ago, and then it came back about a year ago. And they were good friends, and so I reached out to them, and I think that's really important. I can be vulnerable with my wife, but there's still a little bit of that machismo that you want to maintain, or that you try to maintain, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But and it was really nice to have two friends that I could just cry with and be angry with about this and what it's like, and how nobody knows who hasn't gone through this what it's like. That concept of F cancer was something that I saw on bumper stickers, but until you've lived it, you don't really get how much passion there is behind that concept of F cancer. And now I do. I would want people to know that this is survivable. This is very survivable. And a lot of what you read online is from 10 years ago, where I think they were like using leeches and such to cure this thing. But no, now they are, I think this immunotherapy is a game changer, and I hope that people know about it, because when that first week, I didn't know about it. And that was very, very scary. I think the most important thing is that that people have hope. That's what surprised me. I felt so depressed at the beginning. I did not feel like I was going to survive this, and I still might not. But at least I have hope,